All right, click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar, or you can drop me something in the mailbox. It's in the links below if you want to mail me comics or whiskey or whatever. Knock yourself out. So quick Sunday video. I saw this Barbie thing pop. Oh, with this image, in case you're not looking at the screen, two of these things are not like the other, I think. So, well, one, you don't have to look closely for one. The other one, you're going to have to look closely, but I think you're going to get a wee bit of a surprise. So I saw this Barbie article pop up, and I started to go down the Barbie rabbit hole, looking into the history of Mattel and how the character was developed. The history is absolutely horrific, but it's probably better for an Odyssey bitchy video because it's kind of deep into cultural Bolshevism. You see how far back this stuff goes. Anyway, so the Amy Schumer thing, she was set to star in Barbie 10 years ago, which would have been even back then a massive bomb. Back then, believe it or not, she was some artificial hand was trying to make Amy Schumer a thing. And you realize like that's what AstroTurf is, when somebody has incredibly powerful friends and connections and money behind them to put them in all these movies that just kind of do, yeah, Amy Schumer, you're trying to turn her into a star. It's like kind of a little chubby, isn't she? I mean, you're trying to make her something. It's like there's no shortage of skinnier stars out there who are probably every bit as funny as Amy Schumer because she's a comedian. Yeah, but she's not writing most of her stuff. That's she's really kind of right up there with AstroTurf. I know she's got political connections, but I mean somewhere in Hollywood somebody decided to make her a thing. And the more you look at her, the more you realize, yeah, that's really weird. Anyway, so I think that movie, even if that came out in 2014, 15, 16, that would have been a massive bomb. Instead of this movie, which is probably just going to break even with Margot Robbie. Because keep in mind, Margot Robbie, I know a lot of people like her, but she's been in a bunch of films that have not done well. And this went from Sony to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is what did the DC movies. And she was in 3 of those movies that either underperformed or bombed. And people like her, and it's not exactly her fault for being in those movies, but eventually the association with movies that lose money in your name, that's not a good association to have. And the movie she was in, the two that really did poorly were Suicide Squad Part 2 and then Birds of Prey. They just had the fun, police came, and they just sucked all the fun right out of them by political correctness. Because in that case, you had an actor that was known for being in a tank top and short shorts. It's like, so what are you going to do with her? Oh, we're gonna cover up her assets. Like, what's the point? She's a TNA actress. That's most of the reason why this isn't Shakespeare. These are just stupid fun movies. Surely you're aware of that, right? You don't think you're actually doing Macbeth or something. These are movies about people wearing costumes and tights and whatnot. It's just ridiculous. Oh yeah, we're gonna cover up the sex pot. How well did that work out for Scarlett Johansson when you covered her up for Black Widow? I mean, they're crazy to throw away these bodies as eye candy when they're still young enough to have the bodies to pull it off. But that's what Hollywood wanted to do, and they did it. And I don't know. Let me go on a prediction and say I guess this movie will break even. I think it's going to have a big opening, but just an immediate drop off after that because it's a chick flick. But I'm not hearing the online chatter for it. It comes out in 2 weeks. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll go to the theater and go see what all the fuss is about. I just can't imagine that this. I'm not sure who the audience is for because some of the previews have adult jokes in them, so it's not for kids. It's like, well, you're selling kids toys, so something is not adding up. Oh, you're trying to get like the under 40 crowd. Yeah, I don't know if I think this is one of those movies where everyone talks about it on Twitter and YouTube, and that is one thing where they talk about it and they go, I just have to see this movie. I love. I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling. I'm hearing you say that, but I saw the previews themselves, and the preview didn't actually show anything. It didn't show any. It set a vibe, but it didn't tell any jokes, and it had a adult joke in it about the 2 male dolls are at the beach, and they're gonna have like a beach off, is what they called it, which is double entendre. And then she goes up and says she's not gonna beach anyone. There's something like this. It's stupid, but it's telling you that it's not for kids and it's PG-13. You're like, well, these dolls are for kids under 13. What the hell happened there? So that kind of didn't make sense to me. Anyway, so you got some movies on the horizon: Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Mission Impossible. Of those, the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible is going to be the only one that has a chance of being a huge breakout hit. And of those, I guess that would be the one I'd be more interested in seeing, because I mean, Tom Cruise seems like such a guy, a nice guy who just wants to make a fun movie, and he did it pretty well with. The earlier airplane movie, Maverick. And also, it also seems like one of the few movies that is going to be a fun, simple movie that to see on the big screen with big stunts and jumping motorcycles across canyons and whatnot. Where I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of movies that you're going to want to see on the big screen, or maybe even at all. But I mean, there's a lot of movies that you'll see online that you're just is not worth spending $15, especially if you already have a streaming service. That's a prediction for a lot of people. Is movies, it's still worth the streaming service for a lot of people, but it's not worth to pay double to have a streaming service and then also be able to see a movie on the big screen just because you can see it 2 months early. Because I'm looking at all these movies, I don't see any movie on the horizon that has you got to get to the theater and see this. And I don't think that's going to happen in the future just because of this current woke thing we're into. So, yeah, my prediction is that Barbie is going to be woke, but passively woke, not insane. Lecture us on the blonde haired, blue eyed patriarchy. Let's murder our babies woke. But it's got, as I showed you in that photo, a body positive Barbie and also a male Barbie. Um, so I don't give me good luck with that. Anyway, so what happened? I mean, that stuff's happening all over, and like Hollywood they think, oh, people are getting on board with this, and no, people are very much not on board with that aspect of the BLT movement. The T aspect is really wearing on people's nerves a little bit. Quite a lot, actually. Anyway, so what happened is the actors, like the fluff-headed, ninny-brained idiots that they were talking about how feminist this movie is when they were doing their interviews. But Mattel was trying to talk, or Warner Brothers was trying to talk it down, because while those companies are woke, they're also reading the writing on the wall. Hollywood has had a lot of bombs lately. They need this movie either to make money or to cause a resurgence in the sale of Barbie. And I kind of went down did a little investigation into Barbie, and Bloomberg has a good articles. It's in the archives. You can check it out, about the history of the company and how the toy was created. And it's actually really sick and twisted to see how that toy created. So the thing is, selling Barbie toys in this current super woke environment is an uphill battle, and unless there's a shift into some other phase of like ironic feminism, I just don't see that happening, because like the useful idiots you see who are on social media, they don't control feminism. The college professors do, and they get their orders from the puppet masters. The street level slut walk, those are the absolute useful idiots. They'll do whatever their masters tell them to do. And, there's some reactionary stuff for them on their own, because whatever the right is looking towards and trying to do, they will be reactionary against it, even if it's something that is in their best interest or something they would have originally wanted to do. But if the right is for it, then they'll be against it. Though I don't know, I kind of feel like some of the energy from feminism and that movement, I think it's losing some steam. It might be because like a lot of the best feminists now who are taking a lot of the attention are actually men. So I mean, it's an interesting feminist movement where the men are better feminists than the women themselves. Like, you said, the movement was for everybody. Like, yeah, that was bullshit. You should have known that was BS right from the start. We were lying when we said that. Obviously, we were lying. It's a woman's movement, mostly a lesbian woman's movement, if we're being perfectly honest. But these women are lesbians. They're like, but they're not technically women. How dare you say that? Hey, if you're an accelerationist, you just have to push. I'm firmly behind this the trans movement. Please, more of these new women in women's sports. Like, let them burn it out for you. Just sit back and don't fight their battles for them. Anyway, so I don't know where the future of feminism is going to be fascinating to watch. Get your popcorn ready. I mean, they never wonder, like, are there these unseen powers that are manipulating them? Yeah, obviously. Obviously, it's this great billion-dollar well-funded organization. Yeah, that's not a grassroots organization. You probably want to look at where the money. No, this is grassroots. We thought it up ourselves. No, you didn't. I mean, if you're in this thing, you really want to. I looked into the history of feminism, did an Odyssey BitChute video on it. It's pretty much exactly what you'd expect in terms of cultural Bolshevism. But if they did a whole lot of thinking for themselves, they wouldn't have been feminists in the first place. Because like that's they go this drives the left crazy when the conservatives will go like conservatism is the new punk rock, it's the new counterculture, and it drives them up the friggin' wall. But they're right. They are right because it is the counterculture. Because when Bank of America, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, and every major corporation, every major media company, social media, they're all on the same page. Yeah, they're right. The conservatives are right. It is the new. Even punk rock itself is just so ballless and defanged. It's so pathetic. It's just pure globalist propaganda. Where yeah, like the trad wife, the trad girlfriend type of movement. Yeah, that is the new counterculture because it literally is the counter culture. It's if you're over target, then you're losing your bank account. Yeah, there's nothing more counterculture than being deplatformed, censored, losing your bank accounts, losing your payment processors, getting kicked off of everything that matters, not being able to rent cars or Airbnbs or get on flights, having the government try to put you in prison. Yeah, that is the new punk rock. That is counterculture. And the left wing, deep down, they know it. They know they're raging for the machine. Let's get those J6 guys and put them in prison. Ah, that's a shocking lack of self awareness when the left does that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I looked into the shockingly degenerate history of the toy, and it started when Ruth Handler and Harold Matson went to Europe on vacation and saw a sex doll that was intended as a gag gift for bachelor parties, and she was inspired by it because naturally, why not? Hey, this will make a great kids toy. Okay, that should raise some alarms. But and when she presented her version of this adult big-titted doll as a kid's toy, the men at the toy companies very wisely said, "Well, this is way too degenerate for little girls," and obviously they had a point. It did send the wrong message to little girls. It was a sexualized adult doll where before little girls were playing with toy baby dolls and they were practicing being good mothers, which was a very good thing. The Barbie doll was an early part of the degenerate push into social engineering to brainwash little girls away from being mothers and into being feminists. Generally, a good rule of thumb is that if a woman comes up with the idea, it should be carefully examined. Anyway, in an interview with one of the original directors, they said that they were trying to get it going, this movie, in 2014, and feminism was absolutely in peak cringe in 2014. That was like, if you were on social media at that time, you know what I'm talking about. It was unbelievable. And the idea of a simple, fun, light comedy with Barbie at that time would have been a tough sell, even with Amy Schumer. But apparently, feminism has gone full circle or some other twisted Gordian shape where if they can use the movie to push some cancerous message, then they can make the film as long as it hits all the right virtue signaling points, which this film definitely will. And the earlier prediction was a $60 million opening, which keeps getting revised upwards to maybe $100 million, which I personally think is absolutely insane, but I've been wrong about movies before. Like, Avatar was something that surprised me because I looked at that and, like, I don't see what people see in it, but it did like $2 billion or something. And I know the two main actors here are pretty popular, and they're kind of like meme worthy characters. I mean, we'll see. Anyway, so feminism sort of peaked in 2014, but for some reason, at about that time of Trump, celebrities came out. Miley Cyrus came out and said she's pan, and then like that kind of made it into the public lexicon. And all the girls started to say that they were pan, and then the boys jumped in because they needed attention also. Then they started to like, we're gonna need to one up ourselves. What do we do? I know. What we'll because like what was the metrosexual thing? Was that in the '90s or something? That was like, geez, you want to talk about glowing con ops cultural Bolshevism? That would have been it. It's the thing is, the kids started to say that they were actually the other sex because it's a question of all the kids want attention and everything they said. If everyone starts going like, oh, I'm pan, I'm pan, I'm pan, it's like, well, eventually that loses the shine. It doesn't get you the attention you want. And it didn't. I mean, like, they didn't actually have to do anything to be pan. It's just they put it on their social media, and so they got like a little bit of dopamine. And the thing is, how do I say this carefully? The kids who were skinny and healthy and more physically conventionally attractive were the ones who were getting attention on social media, and it was young adults too. And the ones who were chubby, it's like it doesn't matter what you say. If you're chubby, you're not going to get the attention. So it's like you may like focus first things first. It's like the obesity epidemic in America is absolutely a fascinating study for me because it's like nobody is saying anything about it. No, no, we actually want the kids fat, and we want kids, fat adults, to be dependent on the healthcare system and the pharmaceutical. Oh, well, better not go down that path. Anyway, so kids suddenly came out, and it's like we need attention, we need attention. So we're gonna identify as this new thing, which is, it's been 10 years. It feels like that is over the peak. Feels like it's already actually peaked, and it's kind of people are starting to see some of the consequences of that lifestyle choice, and they're perhaps considering that they had gone in wish they had gone in a different path, or probably that some adults had stepped in and said, wait a minute, you're state licensing, you're a nation, a sovereignty, and you're licensing medical doctors to I thought Hercules, I think. Or no, Herodotus. Who is the medical guy? Didn't he say first do no harm? The guy, the barbershop pole. It's the red and the white and the snake and the circles, and like first do no harm. It's like, so as a sovereign nation, you license these medical doctors, um, and they do harm to kids and adults, like permanent harm, and that's like, what kind of sovereign nation licenses that? Oh, it's probably a nation that's not going to be a nation for long. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is this peak Weimar? We're getting very, very close to it. So, send me some freedom pellets, preferably in 223, or, anyway, I'm just kidding about that. Sending that kind of stuff through the mail the shipping is too expensive because unfortunately it's too heavy. But you can send me comics or pocket knives or flashlights. Thanks to Veg and everyone else who's been sending the Hobbit comics. Very cool, though. I'm afraid to read them because, like, I don't want to bend the spine back, and uh I that's such a problem with comics. It's like, so do I read them, or do I just go online and read the online copy? It's like, well, what's the point of having them if I don't read them? It's like, I just can't bring myself to bend the spine. It's I don't know. I guess I'll read them online, and I don't know. Anyway, thanks for the pocket knives. Those have actually turned out to be very, very useful. You can send me comics so I can be entertained during the upcoming war. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Bloomberg article. It's in the archive, so you don't have the pop-ups. It does a really long, in-depth dive into the history of Mattel and Barbie. And the thing is, it goes into the business aspect of it, but that's not the interesting part. It's the cultural universe that is in the background, is going on, where Barbie was kind of too degenerate when it came out, and then and they made, obviously billions of dollars with it. And then they have interesting lawsuits back and forth between people who worked for the companies. And then Bratz dolls came along in 2001. That's maybe I'll do like a longer video on the background history of it. But and then they had then that was like, that's not the interesting part. It's the background messaging that you're sending to little girls is what I found to be much more interesting from a cultural Bolshevik lens, which is why I keep saying those phrases so people can maybe look those up. But you don't want to look those up on Wikipedia, because the people who write Wikipedia, yeah, they are the cultural Bolsheviks. No, these are conspiracy theories. No, they're not. You're lying. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Join the subscriber if you wish, or become a member of this channel. You can watch the videos that they sit for members only, in monetization limbo, and the lowest membership gets all the videos, so you don't have to subscribe for more if you don't want to. And I will see you guys all next episode.